When you use the right mouse button in Excel, it always means shortcut menu. But dragging data with the right mouse button brings up all kinds of shortcuts that are easily overlooked. In this worksheet called Projected Budget 2015, imagine I'm making some formatting changes in column E. I want to use a different color right here, make the data stand out a little bit differently. So on the Home tab in the Font group, I'll click the arrow for the Fill Color bucket. I want to use a different green, that one there. And for this data right here, I want to use a blue. So I'll go back to the Fill Color bucket and use a blue for those, a lighter blue perhaps. I like the look of this. I also want a bold entry right here, so I'll make that bold. And now I'd like to have the same features applied to column I and M, and then ultimately off to the right there, also to column Q. Now, I certainly could have highlighted the data ahead of time, the non-contiguous data, and done it that way. But maybe I wasn't thinking that clearly, or maybe I just wanted to take care of this column first and see how it looks. So I like the look of it. I want to copy the formats that I see in column E also over to column I and eventually to M and to Q. So one way to do this is select column E, and with the right mouse button, I'm going to drag any edge, in this case the right edge, into column I. And as I let go of the right mouse button, I see the prompt, copy here as formats only. We're certainly not copying the data or moving it. We're just copying the formats. Works pretty well. I can either do this 2 more times, or why not just select columns E through I. And then with the right mouse button, drag this rightward into columns M through Q. Release the right mouse button, and once again, copy here as formats only. So that's a good quick way of copying, in this case, not information, but formats. Let's go to the profits worksheet. And down in row 26, we've got a list here that shows 2014 salaries. And then over in column C, a calculation that comes up with 2015 salaries. And certainly in a lot of scenarios, it makes sense to keep both sets of data here side by side. But maybe you've decided that ultimately you've moved into 2015. You don't really need these around anymore. But these are all formulas. So we simply can't move the column C data into column B. If we do this, I'll first select it by holding down the Shift key and double-clicking the bottom edge of C26 here. If I move this by dragging it into column B, there's already data there. Do you want to replace it? Look what we end up with. That's certainly not acceptable. So let's undo that, Control Z. What we really want to do here is to copy the results of this. And although the wording doesn't quite match up with what we want to do, let's drag this into column B using the right mouse button. Drag any edge. This time we'll use the top edge. Hold down the right mouse button. Drag this into column B. Release the right mouse button. Copy here as values only. So these numbers that we see in column C are now going to be in column B. We simply copy here as values only. And the data in column C for the moment is irrelevant. We don't need it anymore. We'll just get rid of this data here along with the percent. We've achieved our objective here of copying by using a right drag. And here's another use of it. On the HR list worksheet, we want to move the status column to the left of the Social Security column. Now you can drag this with the Shift key. You might have seen that in the previous movie. But what if we simply select column F, no special keys held down. We drag an edge, say the left edge, using the right mouse button. We're going to drag it on top of column D. As we let go of the right mouse button, the pop-up menu gives us an option, Shift Right and Move. Notice there's a copy also, but we want to do Shift Right and Move. In other words, shift the data in column D rightward as we move what is currently in column F, the status data, into column D. So we're about to see from left to right, status, Social Security, and phone number. And that's what happened. So we use the right mouse button to drag and insert. We don't see the word insert, we see the term move and copy. So 3 different techniques here of using the right mouse button to give us additional menu choices as we drag data.